What up, guys? In this video, we're going to be talking about a very special concept that has probably, especially if you started out with social media, going through this course and really built it up from the ground level, you've definitely experienced this, right? Whether you like to admit it or not. So a lot of people don't like to admit this kind of feeling, this insecurity that they felt when they've grown their page from a kind of average place to where it is now, the epic, high status, very aesthetically pleasing. A lot of people have experienced this, and I call it the imposter syndrome. Now, let's define what imposter syndrome is. So imposter syndrome is loosely defined as doubting your abilities and feeling like a fraud. This almost only happens to very high level, high achieving people who find it really difficult to accept their accomplishments. And in this process, they doubt themselves, they question if they even deserve any of the accolades that go along with having a curated high status brand. Now, even if you haven't recognized this feeling consciously, at some level, when you're posting these kind of photos, when they're edited, they're curated, when they're edited, it's on brand, you're dressed well, you're posing well, you're at this restaurant you've never been to before, and you would never go to, and it's way too expensive, or this bar, you traveled for a week or so, or you're in this cool car, your buddy's car, and you take a photo. There's so many different environments or situations where if you take that photo, when you post it online, you know the truth behind it, you know why you were there, what happened, what actually led to you getting in that position that was high status and looks epic on social media, right? So there's this polarity, this paradox of it looks epic and high status, and you're getting these rewards, and the people are reacting to it very positively, and you look cool, right? You look high status. But the other side of it is that you know it's not what it seems to be. You know that you don't own that car, or you don't actually go to the restaurant every single week, or you don't, travel to Hawaii, you don't travel to Dubai, you don't travel to this exotic location. You actually work a 9-to-5 job. You actually have a regular life, right? A lot of people have a regular life in this program. They have a 9-to-5 job. They live in an apartment or a house. Maybe have roommates. They have a girlfriend. Like what they think is an average type life, right? And when you're posting this kind of content, and when you're making this cinematic photos and videos, and you're posing, and it's moody, dramatic, you're in these hotel rooms and hotels, you're traveling, all this stuff, and it's just aggregated, right? It's all the highlights of your life. When you see that, especially when you're new, you have a very strange relationship with it. You have a very strange feeling about looking on the phone and seeing your very cool, high status, epic highlight of a life, and then you're living in your body and feeling all of the negatives every single day. You go to work, or you have a mundane routine, or you go to work 9-to-5, you have an average life. When you look at your page, you feel this insecurity, this doubting, this imposter syndrome, that you feel like a phony. You feel like this isn't real. This isn't me. Like you're afraid that somebody's going to find out that this isn't you. It's not the real you. Like you don't belong where you are as far as this high status brand and curated account that you have. You don't belong there. You don't actually deserve that. And maybe you got here based on whatever dumb luck. This actually happened to me when I first moved to Vegas. I had never been, so obviously it's a brand new city. It's very fast paced, a lot of attractive people there, high status people there. And within the first week of me moving there, I'm in Cabo, staying at a villa on a multi-million-dollar yacht with 7 cocktail waitresses and a multi-millionaire. So already in that situation, I feel like I'm the imposter. I'm kind of a fraud. I'm a phony, et cetera, especially when you start posting that kind of content online, because I know how I got there. I know the dynamic of what I had to do to get in that situation. So when I post online and it looks very cool, high status, I'm on a yacht with girls, I'm traveling, helicopter in Mexico, in a villa, et cetera, and other people see it online and they don't know what I know as far as the actual real tangible things that had to happen to get me there in that situation, right? So you feel that kind of discrepancy, and then with what goes along with that is that doubting, that self-doubt, that phony, that imposter feeling of this isn't me. I'm not this actual person who I am portraying myself to be, right? So I have personal experience of really living that imposter syndrome life. And just more of an anecdotal kind of story about my journey. I would travel to a new city every single week. It was very easy for me to document all these different places we were traveling to, the hotels, the restaurants, cool clients we were working with, Ferraris, Rolls-Royce, Cullinans, Dubai, Jamaica, all these unbelievable places. In the beginning, when you start posting these photos in this very specific way that we teach you within this course, with looking away from the camera, the very cinematic pose, the color graded composition rules, all that stuff, every single photo is curated and high quality. There's no gap in the content you're posting, it's all high quality. It's such a big change from what you're used to posting, what you're used to feeling like when it comes to social media and how you look online, your perception, your optics, how you look, how high status you are online. There are so many things that going on under the surface when you start posting these kind of photos. It's funny, I joke around with other team members that this is one of the best forms of self-development, is actually posting photos of yourself online for other people to see and to speak to the masses, speak to your community and how you want to interact with your followers, your community, and how you want to be seen to the public. And through this process of finding the right outfits, the right venues you want to go to, the bars, restaurants, clubs you want to be seen at, and others you don't want to be seen at, the states you want to travel to, the cities you want to be traveling to, you find out so much about yourself. You'll realize, I want to be seen as this kind of person who does these activities, has these attributes within my archetype, my social media archetype. You'll find out after posting the 50, 100, 150 photos of yourself in all of these different locations that we give you inspiration and suggestions to go take photos of. You'll realize what you like to be seen as and how you want to be seen to the world and how you don't want to be seen. Very, very simply, very, very quickly. There's many of my one-on-one mentorship clients where they wanted to be seen a certain way that maybe initially was a little bit arrogant and edgy and, seemingly like a douchebag or kind of the asshole. Within 50 photos, they realize they don't want to be seen like that. After seeing themselves through the lens of other people and how other people are reacting to them in that way that they initially thought was how they want to be seen to the world, they completely changed their mind and now they act differently. Like their tone of voice is softer. They're nicer, they're more empathetic. It's very interesting the transformative process you go through when building your brand on social media and dealing with all the different dynamics, the optics, the perceptions of you and posting and all this stuff and responding to followers. It's very funny how you grow internally when going through these processes. So back to my main point, the imposter syndrome. Whenever you achieve success, say like me and Cabo on a multi-million-dollar yacht with 7 cocktail waitresses, right? Whenever you achieve success, you tend to attribute that success, that achievement, as luck, as dumb luck. Like it will never happen again. And what this really is, it's self-doubt on your past, where you currently are, and especially your future. Say, take my case, for example, on that multi-million-dollar yacht. I'm thinking in my head, I will never be able to do this again. Ever, no matter what happens. And when I posted that photo online of me on the yacht or me in the mansion, whatever it is, one of the first feelings I feel is I'm a fraud. I'm a phony. Because you see all these people reacting to the photo and like, bro, this is awesome. Oh my God, this yacht is crazy. Jesus, is this really you? Like you see all this instant gratifying kind of lower self-validation you're getting from this photo of you at the apex, that achievement, the success that you got, but you feel internally like you didn't even deserve that. You're questioning yourself. You're questioning if you can ever do it again. It was dumb luck it even happened in the first place. It probably won't even happen again. I feel like I'm a phony, a fraud, right? And someone's going to find out that I'm a fraud. Now that's what happens, right? Why does it happen? What actually causes this internally for us to feel like an imposter syndrome, right? Because imagine like celebrities or CEOs of companies, billionaires that like got their success through trial and error and hard work and all this stuff. Do you really think they don't feel the same way as you when you think you're living this phony life? Meanwhile, they're a celebrity, it's an A-list actor or actress, being their movie and their face being shown to the entire world, and they're now famous to every single person in the entire world. There's a lot of different theories about what really causes this. Some people say family background, how you were raised and how you were rewarded, or kind of how you were reinforced when you achieve success. Some say it's the perfectionism curse, but my take on it is that you have a misunderstanding of social media as a whole. What its purpose is and your relationship with it is incorrect. It's not right. It's not how you should actually feel about your social media. Your Instagram account, it's fake life. It's not real. It's an app, right? It's not you in person. It's not meant to be a real life on the phone. My personal thoughts are that when you've experienced these feelings, these imposter syndrome feelings, it's a few things. Usually the number one thing is that you haven't realized that it's a fake life that you're portraying on social media. What else would it be? Right? Your real life is your real life. Your day-to-day life, what you do every day. You're with yourself every day, every second of the day. You know your real life, right? This is a fake life. Social media is fake. It's supposed to be. It's an app. It's photos on an app, right? So when people are like, I feel like an imposter, It's an app. What do you mean imposter? It's not supposed to be real. It's a fake. Social media is fake. I mean, 99% of the people online that are verified and have over 1 million followers, almost all of their likes are fake. Their comments are fake. Their views are, everything's fake. It's crazy. Imagine the girl who's verified with millions of followers, and when she really only has 1,000 like authentic followers, that every single photo is face-tuned. She manipulates her hips and her lips, her eyes, her face, every single thing is fake about the photo, along with her entire account, her engagement, her comments, her views, her story. Every single thing is fake. If you think you're an imposter posting like 9 photos on your feed, imagine how she feels. But one of the main reasons for this feeling is because you really haven't understood yet that this is fake. Social media is fake. The photos aren't fake. If you in the actual place, you were there, you're posing there, that's you in the photo, but the account, social media, the app, it's not real life. It's your fake life. It's fake social media life, right? So understand that. Once you kind of accept that and understand it's fake, it's not meant to be real, an accurate representation of your day-to-day, minute-by-minute day, right? That should relieve a lot of stress off your chest. What a lot of the time goes along with this feeling is a lot of friends that you had from high school, from college, even now maybe in your work, right? They see the change. They see you going from regular selfies or photos of your family, whatever the photos are, the scrapbook type photos. Then they see you post the one epic high status photo that's color graded, and they see the massive change. And if you guys haven't heard about this principle, this mentality, it's called the crabs in a bucket mentality. A very funny thing happens when you put multiple crabs in a bucket. So say you have a bucket and you put one crab in there, right? Eventually that crab will pull its way out and escape. It will be free. By itself, it will be free. You put a couple crabs in the bucket. When one crab tries to escape, guess what the other ones do? They don't let him escape. They pull him back down. They say, you're not going anywhere. We're keeping you in here with us. And guess what happens if the crab tries to crawl out a second time? They pull him back down again and they break his claws. This means that none of the crabs will escape. What if they try one more than once? They're going to get their claws broken so they can never try again, right? This principle is prevalent in all of your life, right? Think of in work, in your social circles, with friends, with girls, in any situation. This happens a lot, right? And it's really their own insecurities, their own self-doubt, is them lashing out, being passive aggressive with you, cutting you down, making you doubt yourself, gaslighting you to make you not elevate so they don't feel bad about themselves. So say you post 5 photos on your feed. I've seen it multiple times where my personal one-on-one clients, they've done this, and I see the comments on the new photos, and it's crazy. You'll get some where it's like, this is epic, this looks so cool. And then you get like a large majority, especially if it's like a close friend or a best friend of the guy, where they're like, bro, this isn't you. What is this stupid face you're doing? You didn't even stay at that hotel. This isn't even your car. Why are you looking away from the camera? What are you doing? Stop being so serious. And it's not that they actually are trying to insult you and hurt your feelings. It's that they see you elevating above them. They see you progressing and being higher status and working on yourselves. They see the progression. They see you literally crawling out of that bucket. I mean, in this specific example, you only have half your feed of high quality photos and the other half is, kind of trash photos. So they see you crawling your way out of the bucket, right? But your friend is still in the bucket. So the friend's going to want to pull you back into the bucket because if you leave him and you completely convert to this new higher status person, you elevated way past him, he's all alone, right? Where did you left him behind? Even if he didn't want to change with you or do the things you were doing because it's stupid, right? You still left him behind. He feels like you're leaving him, you're going to forget about him or her. I mean, this is very prevalent in girl social circles a lot. That's one of the main causes for this imposter syndrome, which is why we're so harsh on the no negativity in the Facebook community, because as I just described right here, we're going through a pretty transformative, sensitive, vulnerable phase when you're expressing yourself through this content. You're posting photos of yourself, your pose, your fashion that you picked out, the venue you picked out, the composition, the angle you picked out, and you edited the photo and then you put it online. You wrote the caption and then you posted in the engagement group. You wanted it, like you said, hey guys, I did this thing. I would love engagement. That's massively expressing yourself and it's very vulnerable. So with those processes going on, there's a no negativity policy in this community because we don't want crabs in a bucket. If you're already in this program, in this community, you're not a crab in a bucket. You're out of the bucket, right? But we have that policy just in case to nip any negativity in the bud, especially in this very vulnerable, sensitive time, because I'm sure you guys have realized by now that the crabs in a bucket mentality is very powerful. The majority of people need attention. They need validation. They need approval. They need appreciation. All of these things. So if they sense their friends are not approving of what they're doing to benefit themselves, elevate themselves, work on themselves, they have a pretty tough decision to make. Do I continue and elevate and become higher status, more attractive, dress better, get a better job, get a promotion, or do I just stay friends with them, right? It's a pretty tough decision for most people, and that's why most people don't elevate, don't increase their status, don't become more attractive or make more money, et cetera, is because they're afraid of those crabs in a bucket pulling them back down and or breaking their claws. And just to drive this point even farther home, let's just list a couple people that have also admitted to experiencing and feeling this imposter syndrome that you probably know of. First one is Sophia Amoruso. If you don't know her, she's a best-selling author, the founder of Nasty Gal. It's a fashion magazine. She said on, is anyone ever 100% qualified for anything? Hell no, I'm certainly not. Another example, Tom Hanks. He said on an interview for NPR, talking about himself, no matter what we've done, there comes a point where you think, how did I get here? When are they going to discover that I am in fact a fraud and take everything away from me? Another one, Lady Gaga. I still sometimes feel like a loser kid in high school, and I just have to pick myself up and tell myself that I'm a superstar every morning so that I can get through this day and be for my fans what they need for me to be. Last one, Howard Schultz, the former chairman and CEO of Starbucks, said, very few people, whether you've been in that job before or not, get into the seat and believe today that they are now qualified to be the CEO. They're not going to tell you that, but it's true. So my point here is that I don't care what your content looks like. I don't care what kind of content you're posting. The cars, the mansions, the penthouse, the villa, the status, the girls, traveling, all this stuff. You're not alone. This isn't a unique problem that only you are facing and you are feeling, right? This is a very wildly ubiquitous feeling that is closely tied to any sort of success or achievement. To be more specific with the content we're posting and the brand we're building in particular, when you start to post these photos of, say, you in a cool hotel or on the yacht or the helicopter, or you're traveling or in the villa, you're with the girls, you're at the first photo shoot you threw, right? In all those different situations, when you do it for the first time, especially the first time, you're definitely going to feel that imposter syndrome. You're not going to feel like you deserve it. You're going to feel like this is not who I really am. I'm the kid from middle school or high school that I remember. I didn't have many friends, or whatever the self-doubt thing is when you're in that epic high status or you achieve that success. It's just the common problem you're going to solve every single time. And it's a very common thing to face. It's a very common feeling to have, especially the more and more higher status or successful thing is that you're doing, the more you're going to feel like that imposter. So some things to overcome this, to actually get over this imposter syndrome, to really pull yourself out of that kind of negative victimhood mindset, is to literally ask yourself, is this true? Is it true that you're a phony? Is this true that you're a fraud? Is it true that you shouldn't be here? Or just ask yourself that simple question. Of course you deserve to be here. Of course you're not a fraud. Of course you're not a phony. You were in the hotel room. You were with the girls. You were on the yacht. You were in the helicopter. You did the travel. What do you mean? Of course that was you. What do you mean? Right? Everything else that goes along with it is some sort of limiting belief or success barrier that's getting in the way, that's kind of slowing you down from just keep propelling forward and plowing forward to get more and more high status, to do the next cool achievement, the next cool successful thing, photo shoot, travel, yacht, helicopter, whatever it is. So some very simple solutions is just simply ask yourself, do you really think that you're an imposter? Do you really think you're a fraud, or that someone's going to find you out? What are they going to find out? In this specific case of like posting photos online, what are they going to find out? First of all, they're never going to ask you this. If you're in that like 5 to 9 photos phase and you have old friends that you know from your past that really, they're used to you at a certain status level and they don't want you to elevate, because then it kind of makes them question themselves and their inadequacies. Yeah, you're going to get some negative comments. You're going to get some people messaging you or saying these comments, or, bro, you changed. What happened to you? Why are you doing this kind of stuff? What are you doing? What's going on here? Where are you traveling to? Why are you taking photos like this? You're going to get those very negative comments. There are a few ways to react to that friend, but what they're really saying to you is that they don't accept you for you changing and elevating yourself and working on yourself. They don't like that you're doing that, right? And in most cases, that's really a very negative crab trying to pull you back down, because if you're going out and you're branding yourself, you're building your personal brand, you're working on yourself, you're reading books, you're working out, all this stuff, that's difficult. It's work. It's you're fighting entropy, you're fighting atrophy. It's work. It's not the norm. You're deviating from the norm massively. So if you have people while you're doing this immense amount of work insulting you and like punishing you for doing this awesome, incredible work, they don't deserve to be in your life at that point. This is my personal thoughts on this issue. but they don't deserve to be in your life if they're insulting you for you progressing, right? Some say, oh, they're doing it because they love you and they don't want to see you go and they don't want to lose you. What? What? No. What? Say that's awesome. You reward the person when they're doing nice things for themselves. You don't insult them. If you're insulting people or being negative at all, you're not allowed to say, oh, well, they just love you. That's why they're saying that. No, that's not how that works, right? That's a very fake solution that people give you. Whatever, just he loves you. No. If they want to be in your life, they have to reward and be positive and encourage your success, not try to sabotage it, right? So, long story short, you will feel this imposter syndrome. Some of it is from your internally and your old mindsets that kind of are holding you back, your limiting beliefs, your success barriers, right? And a lot of the outside pressures that you might feel are from your social circles, your friends, your girlfriend maybe, your parents even, your siblings. You may feel that external pressure not wanting you to change and not accepting you for you changing and evolving and being high status and working on your brand. So it's up to you of how to actually deal with those kind of people that might try to hold you down. But I wanted to make this video to just inform you that this is going to happen, whether it already has or you're building your brand right now and maybe you're just experiencing the first kind of signs of this process happening. I wanted to bring awareness to this issue because this is prevalent in everybody in the world, not just in this community, but especially in this community when we're expediting the process from going from someone who's not even on social media to very high status, curated, brands dialed in, attractive, talking to girls, building your social circle, throwing events, right? That expedited process, you're going to feel a lot of these imposter syndrome feelings. So I wanted to inform you guys, give you some anecdotes, some examples of how it's affected me, also some celebrities, and then also some solutions. You can be transparent with them. You can say, hey, I'm working on myself. I'm building my brand. I'm going to be posting this curated content. It's going to make me look in a certain way. Maybe it's not what you're used to seeing from me, right? There's a lot of people, and you'll notice this as you go through the program when you post more and more content, that when they see you just online, all they feel is the FOMO. All they feel is the status. All they feel is the value, right? So they have self-doubt. They don't think they deserve you or they should be friends with you because who are you? You're this like travel influencer. You're traveling the world. You're with the girls. You're with the content. You're in the hotel. You're traveling. All this. You know how to brand yourself. You know how to write captions. All this stuff. Like, it's very impressive. It's very intimidating to see someone like that posting on social media so frequently and knowing how to convey themselves and knowing how to present themselves to the masses. That just posting one photo online is like the end of the world for most people, the majority of people, right? The end of the world, posting one photo, even if not even this program, not even following any of the rules that we teach in this program, just posting one photo online of anybody else in the entire world is like a nightmare because they're afraid, they're fearful, they have so much anxiety about every single thing, right? So they're deathly afraid themselves of doing it. So when they see you doing it and you're posting very curated, high status, your brand, your optics are right, everything looks amazing, incredible, you're posting epic videos, you're traveling, all these cool things, you're with girls, the people, your family, your friends, is going to feel very intimidated by your presence online and you knowing how to present yourself to the masses, right? Because that's very intimidating, presenting yourself in a very attractive, interesting, captivating way to a lot of people, right? Because you have a lot of options at that point, right? So you're going to notice people treat you differently when they see you in person. And often that's easily solved with a little bit of comfort, asking about them, their day, what have they been up to, how's work for them, right? They'll easily come back down from that kind of anxiety or stress that they might be having talking to you after seeing your presence on social media. It might sound ridiculous to say it out loud, like what I'm doing. I'm saying it out loud and it sounds ridiculous. No, this happens a lot, especially when you're seeing girls and you have close friends. Like when you hear their insecurities towards your social media profile after viewing your story and your content, it's pretty ridiculous of the things that they think and feel when they see your page. And you're like, when you see them in person, you're like, you know me. Like you like you're watching my story and you thought this and this and this, but you know that's not true. You know that I'm not an asshole. You know I'm not a mean or a douchebag. Like you know me in real life, right? But it's very easy to forget how someone is to you one-on-one in person, because when you see them online on social media, you're kind of viewing them in this like voyeurism lens. You're kind of living vicariously with the high status posts, with the FOMO, with the girls. That stirs up a lot of resentment, stress, anxiety, insecurity in the viewer I don't care who you are, right? Even your friends, when you're looking at their pages and they're posting the epic content, you'll feel some tinge of that as well. So a few solutions for those people is to be transparent with them, be vulnerable with them, and tell them that what I just said before. Another option is, if they're being just flat out negative, insulting, is to cut them off, right? Obviously do that at your own discretion, but one very viable option is to cut that person off if they're just showing you nothing but insulting, nothing but disapproval. They're not accepting or especially supporting you building your brand and working on yourself. So those are two good options of how to deal with people when they're acting like the crab in a bucket, is to call out the dynamic, right? It's very passive-aggressive people don't like being called out for being passive-aggressive because it's petty. It's low consciousness. Nobody wants to be labeled as being petty, labeled as being low consciousness. So when you call it out, hey, you said this insulting thing to me. You left this comment. I'm not sure what it meant. Would you care to explain? Would you like to explain? Right? And then you can kind of see where it goes from there as far as like getting them to say how they actually feel about the thing that they said. A lot of the times they just wanted your attention. Those are some good ways to deal with that kind of external pressures, the crabs in a bucket kind of example. As far as internally, as you post more and more content and you just push through and power through this imposter syndrome kind of feelings that you're getting, you will eventually come out of it, right? Because you'll be doing it so consistently over time. You just prove to yourself that some of the internal things that you're feeling, and this video is kind of all over the place because there are a lot of all over the place thoughts that you're going to be feeling as far as feeling like an imposter, because it's not just as simple as like, oh, you feel like a fraud because the photo wasn't as it seems. It's not that simple, right? That's one aspect to it. So let's go over that now. One aspect to the photo is that you actually know what happened that day. You know who owned the car. You know who owns the mansion, the villa, the penthouse, who paid for the flight, who paid for the whatever it is, right? Whose jacket it really is. Some people in the program, they wear each other's jackets in like the same photo shoot, right? So when you post that photo online and you're showing off, say like it's a nice hoodie or a nice jacket, it's not yours, and you're getting comments, validation, and approval and likes on the photo of you wearing not your jacket, right? You're gonna feel like an imposter because it's not your jacket. There's been a few photos in my earlier days when I'm posting of me like in a multi-million-dollar mansion or villa in, say, Cabo, for example, or in Vegas, I'm in a penthouse, or in San Francisco in a McLaren, like all over the country in these very high status, expensive things, right? That I didn't pay for. I don't own the McLaren. I don't own the penthouse. So especially in my earlier days when I first moved to Vegas and posting my photos of myself in these locations, there's a huge discrepancy of like, I know who I am, where I come from, a very small suburban town in the Northeast, and I'm in a McLaren in like a very nice part of SF or San Francisco, or I'm in a Vegas penthouse that costs $20K a month penthouse that I don't own, right? You know the reality of the situation, especially in those case scenarios that like, I don't own this. I wasn't supposed to be here. This isn't my car. This isn't my hotel room, whatever the case is, right? You're going to feel those kind of feelings. A lot of the people that come to me, they say, I have a photo of me with the car, or I'm in this house. I feel weird about posting this. This isn't mine. This isn't my car. This isn't my penthouse. This isn't my whatever, right? And I go, well, you don't want it to be, right? Posting your own possessions, your own car, your own penthouse, your own mansion, your own villa, your own yacht, whatever it is, in trying to show it off and impress people, that the thing you bought with your own money, you're trying to impress the person viewing, especially with girls, that is the definition of overqualifying, right? If you like post your own watch on like your story and like take a photo of it, that is the definition of overqualification, a dishonest signal. You're doing this thing on purpose that you spent money on to impress only me, like specifically me. That's the definition of a dishonest signal and overqualifying. It's very unattractive, right? It's transparent of what you're doing. You're trying to impress the person. If the person knows you're trying to impress them, it loses all effectiveness of the impressive thing that you're doing, even if it's impressive, right? If someone goes, hey, I bought this car to impress you, you're like, you did what? Right? So you don't want it to be your car. You don't want it to be your penthouse. You don't want it to be your mansion, right? Because that's the definition of overqualifying. And you also seem low status and you have an agenda. You're the dishonest signal. You have this weird ulterior motive of like trying to impress that specific person through buying this thing that's expensive, right? So in most cases, you don't even want to own the thing in the first place. For other cases, say you're at a mansion or in some of my photos at a pool, an infinity pool, a villa, or whatever it is, the photo isn't trying to say I own this villa. The photo isn't trying to say I own this penthouse. That's not the point of the photo. The point of the photo is to show that I have access to this location. I was here. I documented through a snapshot, this photo, that I was here in this moment of time, right? And if you're following the rules, it is high status. It is scarce, right? Traveling is scarce. Penthouses are scarce. Mansions are scarce. Models are scarce, right? Exotic cars are scarce. If you document you with those things, you're showing your access to those scarce resources, right? You're not trying to say you own the thing. No, you have access to it. Not many people can even travel more than twice a year, right? So if you do document you travel more than twice a year, or even just document it in a very high status way, you traveling twice a year, that's scarce. And now you're higher status because the scarce resources you just documented, right? So those two things alone should solve a lot of the issues and common problems people fall into as far as the pitfalls when posting and feeling an imposter. Another side to this internal imposter feeling is that you don't think this will ever happen again. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, you don't think you'll ever be able to be in a Rolls Royce again, or in the penthouse again, or in Mexico again, or travel again, or throw another model photo shoot again, or be with this attractive girl again, right? You feel like this isn't ever going to happen again. And for this example, this is what we talked about earlier, as far as you don't believe that this was actually your doing of achieving this success. You feel like it was dumb luck. You feel like this happened by happenstance and randomly, and this could never happen again. It's not duplicatable, right? And the solution to that, the actual reality of the situation is it is duplicatable, right? It will happen again if you want it to, right? It's the skill set that you've built up to get into that situation, right? I don't care how you got there. I don't care what you did. Whatever you did to lead up to that situation was your own doing. Even if it's your friend's car and it came over by accident, you knew the friend. You made that situation happen. Even if it seemed like it happened by accident, it's all self-doubt. It's all you don't think you deserve it, and you're kind of attaining that achievement to dumb luck, right? So the solutions to that are the more and more you post of these cool photos and the more backlogs you have of you in these amazing locations, traveling, venues, hotels, bars, restaurants, all these things, the more of a backlog you'll have of the evidence that you are high status, that you are cool, you are traveling, you are doing all these cool things. That alone, the backlog of say 30, 40, 50 photos of you in different locations of proof that you are high status, you therefore have enough to coast on as far as posting over a certain amount of time to continue your image, your brand, right? Because one of the main problems or pitfalls people fall into is that they think they're going to run out of content or ideas or not be able to travel or not be able to get into more cool places. So having that backlog will now have that like kind of safety net, that savings insurance, right, to make you feel a lot more comfortable or secure in that sense. Another is realizing that you getting into these situations, the cool cars, the penthouses, the mansions, the model photo shoots, that was your own doing, right? Accept the achievement, accept the success. It was because of you, at least to a certain extent. You put in the work, you built the skills. I don't care what skills it is, photography, videography, editing, business, networking, arbitraging, whatever the skill is, you did accumulate those skills to actually make that thing happen. So take the reward of the success, accept the success to actually make you feel like you're confident enough to do it again, right? That will handle a lot of these common problems that you'll feel when you feel like you don't deserve it or you can never do it again. So guys, this is a little bit longer of a video than I initially thought, but this is one of the most important videos when it comes to feeling the self-doubt, the insecurities when you're posting your content on your social media, because you're going to run into this issue sooner or later. And it's good that you know about it now, so when it does happen, you have all the things we talked about in this video to fall back to actually make yourself feel like you do deserve it, you can make it happen again, and you are becoming high status. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.